So we'll call the meeting to order at, I don't know, 6 p.m.? 6:01?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, 6:01 p.m. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? I have one. Oh, no, contracts are there. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Additions, deletions? Hearing none. We'll move over to members of the public. I got Kendra. I think that's
Nothing from me.
Thank you, Kendra. Patrick?
Nothing here. Thanks, Rich.
Okay. I think that's all the public, right? We'll jump over to staff. I don't know who was first, but if I go around, Amanda?
All set, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget?
I have something to say. I would respectfully ask that the board take the advice of the experts, whether it's Heidi or Greg or Francesca or Tracy or the Dover or the Wardsboro staff. They're all experts. We're all experts. Trust us and trust that we know what's best for the students. That's what we're here to do, is do our best for the students. I also respectfully ask that the board allow public comments and questions after each agenda item for discussion, so input can be more informed and relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Now people have moved. Anne Marie Scott, sorry.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you. Heather?
I am hoping that today when we discuss the committee, that we're make a very clear timeline for the IB committee, and that this process has been prolonged over since March 3rd when we submitted our letter, and then held off for vote at on April 29th. And so I would request that there's a very clear timeline so that the committee can stay focused and be timely in their decision, or I'm sorry, not decision making, but their pro and con list, that they should be able to do that pretty quickly and submit it back to the board so a decision is made before our contracts are ended on June 30th.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Wherever you went. Up there. I don't see anybody else. I think we got everybody, right? Is there anybody I missed? Okay, well, speaking of committees, our first item is IB committee.
Rich, can I just tell you, Bob wanted me to let you know he's just getting, he's driving for better service and he'll be on in a second.
Oh, he's on. Okay. He's there. So anyways, we have the IB committee. So I guess I gotta find the paper. I had it right here. So with the IB committee, we had Tracy was collecting names. This is wonderful. Unreal. I just have this thing here. Okay, I'm sorry. So, I guess Tracy had a couple other people come forward. Bob, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. So we have our one administrator, Tracy, is going to be a member of the committee. We had two staff members, but I had a third staff member. Well, I shouldn't say we have two staff members. We have two staff members and one central office member. We had discussed Renee Merluzzi, who, Bob, I forgot, at central office. What is the position?
Yeah, she is going to be the director of curriculum.
Director. Okay, and then we had Bridget Cole. We also had Crystal Griswold sent me an email and asked for consideration on it. Tracy, did she talk to you?
No.
Okay. So we have two board members that we need to announce, two parents. I guess, Tracy pulled two parents from a hat and she wound, now, I must have the wrong one. Tracy, who are the two parents?
They were Kendra Urquhart and Janet Rivers.
Can you give us a little background? How long have they been here and what age? Did they have any children that have completed the IB? Or were there any, did they have children before IB? Can you just give us a little background?
Janet has a couple of kids that are older and have been through the program. She currently has a student in our building now. Kendra has 3 in our building now.
Okay. And then how long, I don't remember exactly, but how long has Bridget been with us?
I believe this is year 9, year 8, one of the two.
Okay. And how long has Crystal been here? Crystal was before we started IB, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think.
And then two community members, Mark Schauber and Diane McCormick. Diane McCormick's from Dover.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think, oh, I'm sorry, it's right there. Janet Rivers and Kendra Urquhart. Okay, so is everybody good with that for a committee?
Who did you say the staff was? You
Well,
went back and forth.
So we had Renee Merluzzi, who's from central office, but we also had Bridget Cole, who said, I guess Tracy, she agreed to do it with Tracy when we talked last meeting. She didn't want to do it. And then we have Crystal Griswold.
Okay.
And I think Bridget was your coordinator for a while, right?
Both Bridget and Crystal are coordinators.
Okay, but Bridget took somebody's place. She wasn't, because we already had IB when Bridget started, correct?
I think you should ask Bridget that question. I don't know because Bridget's been at Dover longer than I have, and I can't answer that question for her. I'm sorry.
Bridget, you started after we already instituted IB, correct?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
And then you took Sue Newman's? No, you took, whose place?
I took Sue Newman's position.
No, not position, but the coordinator, because it wasn't, it's just,
It was me.
oh, so you were the coordinator for a while?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, because it started out as Sue and Miss
Allison Sullivan.
Right. And then when Allison left is when Crystal must have come on? Probably. Okay. So we do have those, but I don't know why why Tracy didn't get Griswold.
May I ask a clarifying question? Because I believe I heard it being stated that I said I was uninterested, and I wanted to clarify that that is not true.
Okay, I asked you at the last meeting if you wanted to serve on it, and you told me no.
I never said that.
Rich, that was me that said I didn't want to. That
Yep.
was not Bridget. That was Heather.
Okay, I'm sorry. Were you sitting next to Bridget?
Nope.
No, that was another person who was sitting beside me at the meeting.
That was Dee Dee.
And that was Diana Driller, and she said no, she was not interested in serving on the committee.
I'm sorry. I thought the two of you were right next. I thought it was one. I thought it was you. I apologize. So anyways, I think the administrator's pretty easy. Board members, Kate, you said you'd agreed to serve? And
Yes.
Bridget.
Meredith.
Meredith, would you be able to serve on that
Yes.
for us? Okay. And then our two parents, I think, are fine. They both agreed. We had Diane and Mark both agreed. So I guess what do we want to do about the staff members?
So we have 9 right now.
Yeah, well,
So we said 9 to 11. So I think that would probably work. 1, 2, 3, 4,
How many staff
5,
members
6,
are interested?
7, 8, 9.
3.
Because then we would have a little flexibility if someone couldn't be there.
Would that create an odd number too?
no, it creates 10.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, because you got
Oh, I don't have
Tracy,
Tracy.
Oh, Tracy.
Renee, Bridget, Crystal, Kate and you, Janet and Kendra, and Mark and Diane.
That's 9.
I count 10.
No, there's 10.
1, 2, 3,
Renee,
4, 5,
Kendra, Janet,
6,
and
7,
Myra.
8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
10 too.
Did you
Yeah.
count yourself?
I did count myself.
Okay, so we got Tracy as 1.
Did you count
Oh,
Renee?
Tracy. I didn't count Tracy.
Right.
Okay.
And we got Renee, Bridget, and Crystal. And then we got Kate and Meredith. And we have Janet and Kendra. And we have Mark and Diane.
That's 10.
That's 10. Yeah.
She didn't count Tracy.
Oh,
That's
all right,
what
so
she said.
are we good with the 10-member committee?
I'm fine with it.
I'm good with that.
Kate, Mike,
I'm good. Yeah, that works.
okay. So, what? I'm sorry.
The reverb.
Oh, reverb. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we need to put together some guardrails for the committee. So I think we had talked about that we weren't going to ask for a recommendation from the committee, but just for some facts. And I think we asked everybody who's supposed to think about some whatever they want to see from this committee to kind of give them some guidelines.
I think we said we were gonna ask. They were gonna give a recommendation, but not a decision. We were gonna make a decision based on the recommendation. What do I remember?
Okay.
Is that right, or am I wrong?
I thought we were going to have them bring some facts, bring the facts to us.
I know we weren't gonna make a decision. I know that the board was gonna make the
Well,
decision.
the board's going to present it to the voters, and the voters get to make the decision. And the
Okay.
board will have to decide if the board wants to make a recommendation to the voters or just give the voters the facts and let the voters decide.
Rich, can I say what I have written down in my notes?
Sure.
I have written down in my notes that the committee was to bring back a list of pros and cons to
Correct.
present to the board. And then there was discussion of should it be a debate that the committee has to sway the board one way or the other, but that didn't seem like that was appropriate. So we went back to the list of pros and cons. That's how I have it written in my notes.
Okay. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Kate
Yes.
and Mike? Is Mike still there?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay. Cool. So I think couple things I would really like to see from the committee though is I would really like to see input from parents and from the community. And I'd like to see some background on how much we spent to bring IB into the school and how much time. And I'd really like to see a comparison between IB and EL. Because I think when I asked the question when EL was first presented to Wyndham Central, if it would make, how it would affect IB, and I was told that there would be no effect. So I think we need to.
Can I clarify that?
Sure.
That was true until IB has changed their parameters.
Okay.
We
Yes.
we could make it work between the two of them by finding crosswalks between them. But now IB has changed their transdisciplinary themes.
Okay, but that's something I think Tracy's good to bring back to the group.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that, why were we told that and why is it different now? So that would be some of the facts that you guys could bring back to us. Is that okay?
It's like a
Of course, I just
crossover.
wanted to clarify that for folks now.
Can they explain the crossover?
Well, yeah, I
That's
think
what you're
that's
asking,
what they're
right?
gonna have to do.
Okay.
And why it changed. And I understand that Tracy, this was one of the reasons why when Kate and I met with Tracy to try to get ready for the meeting, it's not as cut and dry as,
You might think.
right.
I gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
and we also, really the staff gave us a letter, but we really didn't have any chance to hear from parents or from the community about it. And, we spent over 2 years. I don't remember. We spent quite a while, it was a few years before when it was first presented that we just had discussions and talked about it and, did research before we actually voted to move in that direction. So I just want to, I don't think we should just in one meeting that's why I think this group will work out really well.
So, like, just to clarify for everybody so that we're all on the same page, like, this isn't something that the committee is going to meet within the next 2 weeks and bring anything back to the next meeting. Like, the timeline of this is a very different thing than people might be thinking. So in theory, like, the committee is going to meet and then the board will talk to the committee or hear from the committee, and then the board will go to the voters. And so that doesn't sound like a short process to me.
Well, it's as much, whatever the committee could do for time.
Okay.
Is there any- I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Me first?
Yeah.
Is there any way to gauge, this is difficult, I don't think it's possible. Is there any way to gauge the effectiveness of IB comparatively or compared to before IB? Is that something we're looking for? I don't know if that's possible or not. It's very difficult. I get that,
But I think that's a good thing for the group to look into for us too. Was it effective?
Yeah, I mean,
was it working?
I know it's very hard to quantify that, but just maybe if they can look somehow into that. I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead, Meredith.
I agree that the timeline, like that we need to take time and discuss this with all the time and money, and it's a big change. I know that there's a concern about not getting it done by the beginning of next year, I just wanted to put that out there that there's a concern about not getting it done in enough time for the school to make decisions based on what they have to do to begin the next year. So I just want us to keep that in mind, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I
that's a
want to
good
take our
thing, and you
time
can-
and make the decision.
Right, and you can bring that to the committee.
Okay.
Kate, you all set?
I'm good.
You all set?
Yeah.
Set.
What's up?
Mike, you all set?
Yeah, I'm good. What is going to be the voting process? I don't understand how you're going to get the town vote on that. Is it?
We're gonna have to we'll either do a special meeting or depending when they, what the information comes to the board. We talked about having the voters vote for it, the towns vote for it, because that's how we got it instituted. It wasn't just something that the board just did. So,
Is that one of those votes we have to put out one of those bulletins for, like weeks ahead of the?
yeah, we have to warn it ahead of time.
Gotcha.
But we want to also make sure, and then the board has to decide with what we're going to do with the information from the committee, whether, we want to take a stand on it or if we want to, a lot of our articles, we just give the voters the facts and the voters decide what they want to do with it. You all set, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we got one committee down. On the second committee, the future of the district, I'm gonna just ask that if we can put that off for one more meeting, because I think it's gonna be important to see what happens at a legislature. Right now, nothing's happened. And we don't know, I don't know if they're just gonna keep studying it for another year. But I think it's still something I want to move, even if no decision's made on legislature. I just think we're charging this IB committee, and let's just see where they head out. and how they do in the next couple weeks, and then we'll move from there. And so next meeting we'll set up the future district committee.
Can I ask, Rich?
Yeah.
Have there been any people interested in serving on this?
Yes, Francesca's got
We've got
10 people. She's
10
got
people.
parents and
Okay.
some staff members, and we'll have to pull some board members. And I want to see if Bob will give us somebody from central office again.
Okay.
Okay, are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then the unfortunately, Meredith, your better half's going to be upset, but the future of the reserve funds, we're going to put that off until we get this other committee. And he's the only one we've only had one parent member of the public express interest in that, but I don't think that's going to be as difficult. I think that's more of a factual thing on, what exactly they're doing. I will say that none of the bills that were proposed had any clawback or take back of reserve funds. So I don't think it's on the agenda for, that quick, but I think it would be really good for next budget cycle to have a good feel for that. And it would be good to have some support from outside the board. So is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, Mike, you ready to move forward?
Yes.
Okay. So summer programs. Financial update. So we had something in our packet, which I'll be a little honest, I was a little confused about. So did this come from you, Tracy, or was this through?
This was me.
Okay, because you show three different things. You show proposed and then recommended.
And so the proposed was from Janet. She sent this to me based on staffing and volunteers and what she'd like to charge. And then I put the recommended 2 examples next to it. I understand that she'd like to keep it low, but I wanted you to see based on different numbers where you would end up based on her budget. So my first example is if there is 40 kids a week based on what she's thinking, that 190 would be more than enough per student, and it would give you a little bit left over. If it was less than that, say 30 students each week, if you charge 200 a week, you would take a loss and use some of your general fund to help with the expenses. I talked to Janet a little bit about staffing. She's looking at having 9 staff per day for the students. I asked her if there was less students, if she'd cut some staff. She said that's really hard to do because you want to make sure you have enough in case someone's sick or unable to come in. So it seemed like her proposed budget was pretty in place for the expenses. So it's really, I just wanted to give you 2 examples and then let the board make a decision. She used an example of the WINGS program that is much cheaper, but they have grant funding, and we don't have any grant funding right now. So that's how they make it cheaper. I just want to point out that, whether you want taxpayers to help fund it or, in the general budget is up to you. Yeah.
Tracy, you got any comments? No, you don't have to.
No, I just know that I've had a lot of parents reach out to me, and then there was a space on the survey that I sent out for comments, and there was a lot of financial worry from our community. So I would love to be able to do it for as little as we can. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Hey, Heidi.
Yeah.
So on your example, so the proposed budget shows a director stipend and staff pay, but your examples don't show the director stipend.
You're absolutely right. So let me just throw it into mine. I don't know how when I copied it over, I missed that, but.
Yeah, so it just shows that one way we're losing about $3,200. The other way we're losing $6,400.
That's correct.
So I mean,
Correct.
but we knew it was a lose. We knew it wasn't going to make us money.
Right, and you haven't actually paid for it in the last 3 years that I was looking at the data. You've lost money every single year. It's just that we had reduced a little bit of the budget in the after-school summer programs, which we could potentially try to find savings during the school year as well, just depending on the staffing and such.
And so it's actually 10 staff if you have a director.
Yes.
And 9 staff, so it's 10 people.
Which is about a 4-to-1 ratio.
What's that? Oh. Well, and if you're down to 30 students, it's 3-to-1.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, any thoughts from the board? Go ahead.
Question. What was the cost per family or per student last year?
The cost per student, she had indicated what she charged people was $65 a week for students that were there for summer school and $75 that were there for the camp. We received about $26 per student with the revenue that actually came in. So I don't know if there just isn't any follow through with payments or if there's considered to be scholarships. I haven't been on the inside of that information, but the final cost of the expenses less the revenue was about $720 a student.
So who collects the money?
Lori.
Okay. So do we have students that owe from last year?
I don't have the answer to that. I assume there's no more payments coming in. I'm assuming they take in what they take in over the summer.
So if you, go ahead, you had the floor. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And I thought last year there was a loss of 30,000 or something was the number I remember hearing.
Yeah, so the total cost of the summer camp was $31,000 and the revenue was $1,150.
Right.
I don't know how that was the only revenue based on 43 kids participating over the 3 weeks. But that's the actual revenue and the actual expenses in the system.
It appears to me if we kept the cost the same at 75, the loss probably would be still about half of what the loss was last year, maybe 12 to 15,000 or something like that.
Yeah, let's see, 75. If you have 40 kids is $3,000. So if we're looking at a total of, let me add that in, 4167.
How many students do we think we're gonna get so far?
Let's finish one.
Okay.
And then,
So you're looking at a total of 18,467 based on this. The expenses with the director, so 3,000 would reduce that to, 15.
15, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is still half of what the loss was last year.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
You know that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Meredith.
Oh, is the 30 and 40 students, do we have any estimate closer to, I know we got some feedback, but do we have any more information about how many students we think we're gonna have?
No, because we haven't been able to send out registration yet.
Okay.
Okay, because we did approve the program, we're just approving the funding now.
Right, but it's hard to send out the registration because we had a lot of folks say that the amount of money depend upon whether or not they were coming or not.
No, okay, thank you. But what kind of, Tracy, if you can, and nothing we're gonna hold you to, but how many did you have did we have like 40 families with 40 students that you think we're gonna attend, or you think the number's closer to 30, or?
It's about 40.
It is, okay. So that's not a bad number, so now we just gotta come up with an amount. So if they were to send their child somewhere else, like to Mount Snow or to another camp, does anybody know what that would cost?
Significantly more.
I can give you data on that. The Mount Snow 1 day rate is $90 a day. The 10-pack rate drops that down to $65 a day. Then they also have an internal employee rate. But at the same time, like that's a really different camp experience. So it's not an apples to oranges comparison at all. And like I said, we don't have a community program that would give us a better like apples to apples comparison.
Kate, do you have anything else? Any other comments, questions, thoughts?
I was curious, like in the surveys, did people talk about last year's pricing and like if that was a stretch for folks or what, or like did they give you a sense on how people were feeling? I know this has been a really tough year for a lot of people financially, so I'm curious on if you have an idea based on the data that was received in the surveys on what a threshold might be for families. Or maybe we do like some type of scale, like, you know, minimum payment and then like donations gladly accepted to keep it running in future years. I don't know.
I do know that Lori does have a scholarship money, and I do know that a few families have reached out to her already to see if that's a possibility, and that comes partly through something, and I don't remember what it was. She has money from some donation that had come in for this specifically to the school, and then there's like the Dover School Club and that sort of thing that help kids with the cost as well. I didn't answer your question. The 100, I think that the $75 felt reasonable. And some folks were like, other places are expecting 200, so I could do half. I mean, that's what it felt like from the comments that I was reading in the survey. It's really hard.
Yeah. Like 10 years ago, my infant at Mount Snow for an employee rate was like $24 a day. So, I mean, that's 10 years ago and all of that, but still. And like now these days, I think an infant, like a daycare rates, like it's totally insane. It's even in our area, it's a lot higher, but it's not easy.
Just as an aside, if it was $75 a week and they had 43 students, we should have brought in around 32.25. You know, if we brought in around $1,000, it means only 15, so less than a third of them, or just about a third, right? Yeah, a little bit more than a third paid. But again, we don't know if it was like, you know, everybody paid half, or if, you know, a third paid a full amount, or so again, we knew.
I know that Lori has the data somewhere, but I will have to wait till she comes back to ask her about it.
I think for this year, we know we know it's not gonna make us any money, and we know we're gonna have to spend some money. But I think for the future, we should really grab those numbers when we do budget next year, just so we can ask, you know, we can talk about it a little bit more with a little bit more facts. Mikey, I lost you. Mike, you have anything?
You know, yeah, I don't know how to raise my hand on this doggone thing, but that 30-something thousand, that was a 3-week camp. We're looking at 2 weeks this year, right?
Good point. Yes.
All right, so I think, you know, all our numbers have to be cut down just a whisker, you know, revenue and all that good stuff. So we just need to keep that. And is that, you know, forgive me for being an idiot, but is that 75 a day or 75 a week?
No, a week.
Seems like a bargain.
Well, we're suggesting 100 a week this year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to clarify the weeks because I thought I remember the first week kind of getting kicked out for the roof.
Yeah, they're only gonna do 2 weeks this year, but again, too, it's something that, if we put in for the budget for next year, we wanna just have some of our facts.
Gotcha.
So, Mike, you're all set, sir?
All good, thank you.
And just unmute yourself, and then I'll see that, and then we'll call on you.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
You all in here all good? No?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Should we make a motion or something? Or
Well, I don't.
Well,
anyone else get any questions?
No, go ahead.
I think going from 65, 75 to 190 or 200 seems like a big jump. That's my only thought.
Yeah, maybe I'll make a recommendation rather than a motion.
Well, go ahead and make a motion if you want.
Okay. Well, I think
Because I think we
Yeah.
should. On
All right, yeah, let's get moving. Right. Well, I think a couple things. I think if 15,000 additional was in this year's budget, we probably wouldn't even noticed it. It's a small number. And the budget, the overall budget went up 1.9% this year. So I'd like to see the number not instead of 75, make it $80. So I'm recommending $80. I'd like to make a motion to that effect, that we approve the summer program with a weekly charge of $80 per week per student, and then any funds that are needed to pay, we'll pay out of the general fund. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep. So the motion is that Dwight made was to charge $80 per student in the program, and the balance to come out of the general fund that's not covered. That correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion anywhere?
I'll second that.
Okay. Eli seconds it. Is there any further discussion? Heidi, you have something?
No, I'm sorry. I just was preparing in case there was any other questions.
Okay. Kate and Mike, you all set to vote?
All set.
Yep.
You guys all good? Okay. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
It appears to be a unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is. You have a summer camp.
Yay.
Well, we had a summer camp. Now we have a summer camp budget, or
Right.
Yeah,
We have the
now we have a
budget, and we
budget
know.
for it. Congratulations.
Tra-
on the budget.
Tracy can tell people how much it's going to cost. I don't think.
I
There's,
will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I don't think there's much that's gone down in price.
Yeah, I think great thing.
So $80 should be very doable. So, and then Tracy, you still have money for scholarships, right? You said.
That is correct.
Okay. Do me a favor. Send me an email. Let me know how much you have in the scholarship and how many people need a scholarship. Because
Okay.
I'm aware of a fund too that I can maybe go to help out with that.
Great. I will send you an email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing was the website, and this got brought up during that long campaign season for school board this past year. And there was some discussion about the website didn't exactly do what we had sold it to do. And I have never really understood what we sold it to do. And I've never really kind of understood websites and technology. So Meredith, who understands technology, was going to have a conversation with the person who shepherded this through at the time and was going to give us some information.
So I have not heard back from Mark still.
Okay.
But I did have a meeting with Derek Bliss, who is managing, kind of running the website, being the
For the
liaison
SU.
between Edgeworks and the staff. And we did go over some issues that need to be resolved. The accessibility that we pay for is not visible on the site. It's not showing up. So he's gonna work on that. There's a gallery that doesn't look right. There's also, I think what we need to see is more of a call to action at the top. It needs to be easy. Like, people need to be able to go in and say, okay, here's the calendar. Here's like the top things so that we're gonna kind of work through that with Edgeworks. He's waiting to hear back from them. Because it's a little overwhelming when you go to the site. The menus are all really expansive. Like each menu has like 10 different things on it. You have to scroll through. We also don't know where I don't know if you know, but on our side, we didn't know where the contact information is going. Lori said she's not getting it. So that's kind of an issue. And I know that I've heard from prospective parents that they weren't receiving emails back and Tracy wasn't getting emails. So that's an issue that we're going to try to figure out. And let's see if there's anything else. And just make sure that all of the accessibility is correct, because I know that there's other districts that have been sued in the past for not having that up. So that's kind of what?
Been sued for what?
For not having the accessibility with the visibility for color blindness or dyslexia and things like that. If they're not, and we pay for that,
Right.
but it's not showing up on our site right now. Like there's supposed to be like a window that pops up that we pay for, and it's not. So he has an email into them and is waiting to hear back, and I will hopefully have more updates by the next meeting. But it's kind of a work in progress at this point, but we've kind of pinpointed some of the things that need to change. And then once we get that going, we can look at kind of moving some stuff around so it makes it more friendly to people to go in and say, you know, here's a new student button is right when you open it. It should have a new student button, a calendar, and whatever else we've noticed. Like we can look back and see what people click on the most, and that's what should be the most accessible. So that's where I'm at with it, and I'm hopefully going to hear from Mark at some point.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
The I remember at the time, and I've forgotten that we had some kind of they would work with us and have what's it called? You know, we paid for time for them to help us with support. Did you have a chance, or maybe we should look at the contract and see exactly, or do you know?
He said that they respond, but it's slow.
Okay.
So-
I think we actually either paid for it, or was one of the things that I think I remember back. I don't know if you remember, Rich. But it seemed like
here's the proposal.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like that was a problem.
Okay.
Like according to
they're there to
Derek,
help. Okay.
they will help us. He just
Right.
it's just not as quick as he wants it to be.
Okay. Okay.
But it seems like there's a calendar on there for River Valley that is not correct.
Okay.
It's blank
All right.
because there's no data going into it.
All right.
So yeah, he said that he does contact them, but after we get a few of these things, maybe I will be able to actually connect with them and see where we're at on that.
I think it was a Vermont company too.
It's a Brattleboro company.
Oh, okay, so they are local. So
Well, I thought they were up in Waterbury.
They could be
Waterbury,
north. Yeah, I haven't. But right now,
Yeah, Waterbury, at least when they
okay.
when they did this. Are you all set, Meredith?
Yeah, unless you have anything else that you want me to.
Well, we're going to talk about budget in a minute, but for
This budget?
yeah.
Okay.
So for the operations part of it, is there any other comments? Eli, are you all set?
I'm all set.
Dwight, you
Yeah,
good?
it's good.
Kate or Mike?
I was just I just sent Meredith an email. When you look at it on a mobile device, you can see the accessibility feature. So I wonder if it's just on the desktop.
That must have been fixed. Because I looked at it on my phone as well when we were meeting over a week ago, so maybe they did. Maybe they fixed that.
Wow, see how quick they respond? We just needed a new person.
One thing off the list.
Exactly.
Somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Okay.
Good, that's right.
So can you fix a national debt next?
I'm on it.
Okay,
He's on it.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm all good. I just tried to log into it so I could check it out, and I ended up at some school in Oklahoma. So I will, I'll try to navigate the site myself and see if it's user friendly.
Well, if Mike, if you and I can use it, it's got to be user friendly, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just saying I ended up in Oklahoma somewhere, so I'll get a little closer to home.
Okay, I couldn't even get on, so don't worry. You're done better than me. At least you found a school. Okay, if we're good on that, so Heidi did. There's a memo from Heidi in your packet. So the vendor was hired. The original proposal was accepted by the board in 21.
There you go.
18,900 was the accepted proposal in 3 payments for the work. An additional 13,320 was paid in FY24 for a total of 32. I believe the we budgeted 30.
30 to 35 somewhere in there.
I thought it was
Maybe
30.
it's 30.
But you know what? I might have that.
Might-
So, anyways, we I think we pretty much spent all our money. My only question is going to be, what was the additional 13,320? Because if our proposal was for 19,000 or 18,900, I remember that I was impressed how much lower it was.
Right, me too.
So I'd like to know what the extra money was for. So
Do you think that could have been like annual like fees for like web hosting or anything like that?
Not that.
well, that seems steep. That's why. Meredith, do you know what it was for? Does it say, or does it just say payment to edge work?
I think he's talking to you, Heidi.
Heidi, I'm sorry. Who was I talking? Who did I say?
You said Meredith, but you look
Wow.
that way.
I gotta tell you, I'm never scheduling PT before board meeting ever again.
A lot of endorphins run around.
No,
Let me just take a second while I'm on here, while you're talking, and look it up on eFinance real quick to see if there's a better description.
you know what, Heidi? Let's not worry about it now because we're putting you on the spot. Maybe we should just see if we can find out. Meredith, can you? So the initial 30,000 was dedicated. That is what was voted on. So I do know. I kind of remember, and Kate, you may remember, or you may. There originally that accessibility thing wasn't something that was in the original package, and I remember there was a lot of issue about that because we actually voted to do that, I think, after the fact. So Mark
Could be.
mentioned at one point that there should be a file that Matt Martin had because he was chairing the committee. So I don't know if Matt has that or Tracy. Could that
That's where I got the original contract, was from Matt. So he may still have all the documentation at this point.
Okay. Or if not, if he left it at the Dover building, maybe he can let Tracy know and Tracy can try to.
Negative, Ghost Rider. There is nothing on the website.
There isn't?
No,
Okay. I didn't know if there's a file folder somewhere.
not that I have access to.
Okay.
But if it's digital, Matt still has it.
Okay. Matt keeps everything.
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, at least now, we'll be the missing 10 minutes of tape or anything. So, okay.
I will send him an email to ask about the second amount.
Okay. So, Meredith, you good with that? Moving that forward too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we'll have a report. Is everybody good? Anybody else? If not, we can move on and we'll get Meredith, thank you for doing that and getting on top of that for us. So the next thing, we had a summer retreat, discussion of a date and time. So I think last year, and is Bob still with us? Bob, last year we did it in September, right?
Yeah, we can do that again if you'd like. I've not gotten any information from any board members about dates that either work or don't work. So whatever you guys want to do.
September works.
Okay, how about August, before school starts getting up, because it's a little lighter later and it doesn't feel as bad. In September, it just seems like it gets dark early and it seems dreadful time of year. Do people have a date in August, and maybe we just do one August board meeting, the other meeting we can plan as a retreat? Like, we all should have that first August meeting set aside for, the first Monday in August. Would that work for folks?
Probably not.
Probably.
That's August 4th, right?
Yeah, whatever the first Monday
Yeah.
is.
4th.
Mike or Kate, do you know if that night would work for either of you guys?
I don't have my summer schedule yet, but most likely.
Yeah, I don't stray too far from home, so I'm sure I'm around.
Well, you may have to go to Harmonyville.
I'll have to hate driving one of you guys. I don't drive that far.
Okay. Well, I want to do it early so that we could see to get home at night, you know?
Yeah.
The early part is the problem for me on a Monday.
Okay, what time could you start? Could you do 5:30?
Yeah.
Okay. Kate, does 5:30 give you time enough?
If we moved it to a Tuesday,
Yeah, just, the problem is Bob has other
Right.
meetings, and then if we start moving too much off that date, then we start interfering. Kate, how's 5:30 work for you?
I'll figure a way to make it work.
Okay,
That's for the meeting or for the retreat?
that's for the retreat. We won't do a meeting, we'll do a retreat
On the 4th or on the first?
on the first Monday of August.
So that would be in person only, right? Like that's how we did it last year, just for clarification for everybody so everybody knows.
It would be in person.
Yep.
Okay. Let's pencil that in. Bob, is that work for you, or is that when you're going to teach the Celtics how to play basketball?
Well, if I have not been hired as their head coach by then, I should be available. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they did call me, and I gave them a really good recommendation for you, buddy.
Well, it's hard for them to beat that 97-year contract you gave me, so I think we're probably good.
Okay. Well, remember, that went up to 105.
Oh, that's hard to compete.
Yeah, Francesca and Tracy went to the 97. Remember that we're going to see that when we sign those later, right?
Perfect. We'll all go down together. I like it.
Okay. Well, you have to stay just a hair longer. Okay, so let's plan on 5:30 August 4th to be announced. Be there, be square.
Be there, be square. All right.
Okay, so moving right along, I think that pretty much kills old business, unless I missed anything. I thought I saw somebody join that wasn't here before.
Janet.
Oh, Janet, you missed public. Do you want to make any comment under public? Janet Rivers? I thought there was somebody else. Janet, you're up muted. Okay. Maybe not. Hey, Bob, superintendent's update.
Absolutely. So you got my newest edition of the cabinet report and the super news in your email the other day. So hopefully that's some excellent reading for you guys. We are close to getting a new director of student services signed on. Do some news on that will be upcoming hopefully this week. And the really only the other major news is just to give you guys a quick update on what's happening legislatively. And as Rich mentioned earlier, there's not much happening. So they sent the bill to the conference committee between the House and Senate, and they discussed for a few days. There was some, the words of one House member, shenanigans. But in the end, they have temporarily paused that, and it's possible that it will reconvene on the 16th is what they're talking about. Although it is also possible that, well, I heard today that one thing that they can do if they haven't reached a resolution yet is that they can actually extend the conference committee all the way until January, which is a long ways away. So I guess we will find out more in the next week or so how that shapes up. But yeah, there's a lot of changes happening. They're happening rapidly. I met with the regional folks, legislators this morning, including Emily Kornheiser, who is in that conference committee. And the urging of the regional supers group, we basically were said to them, like, look, just be thoughtful. You know, there's lots of ways that this can go bad, and there's probably very few ways it can go good. So any changes you make, just be sure you're thoughtful, you're putting kids first, and, you know, the rest will take care of itself. So, yeah, that's where we're at. And I'm happy to answer any questions I can about that. But that's basically my report.
Anybody have any questions for Bob? When's Leland Gray's graduations next week too, right?
14th.
Yeah, they are the 14th, Saturday, I believe.
So that'll be the last one usually, right?
Yep, yeah, because the 13th, I think, is the last teacher day. So I think by the 14th, that Saturday, the staff and students are all wrapped up.
Cool. Okay. Any questions for Bob? Any comments? You guys all good? Mike and
All good.
Kate.
Oh, good.
Press star 9. I think Mike raises your hand.
Janet has her hand up now.
Oh, Janet, go ahead. I don't see it up.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. I just I could not unmute. Thank you. I didn't have any comments. I appreciate you guys figuring out the can't fee a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay. It says star 6 to mute and unmute.
Star 6.
I'm on my cell phone, so I'm watching the meeting and I don't have the keyboard up. If I'm on my phone, I just do it. I can't function properly. You'll just see me at more meetings. That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you. Bob, privacy procedures. So that was something that came up on one of the policies. So if it's procedures, we don't adopt it. You just gave it to us for our perusal.
Yeah, that's correct. This is basically how we manage FERPA, which is the Family Education Rights Privacy Act. And so that speaks to student privacy. So we figured we would share that out with you guys so you could see what that looked like. And as you know, I'm in a car right now. So if you have questions about it, I can't really answer them because I don't have it right in front of me. But I would be happy to answer any questions next time. If you guys ask questions now, I will obviously check the recording and be able to respond to those next time.
So if anybody has any questions, send me an email and I'll get it to Bob. Hey, since Heidi's still here too, Bob, the only other thing from the WCSU meeting, I think signing on to that class action lawsuit, just in case people see that, can you just you or Heidi give us a 30-second overview on that?
Yeah, so last week the SU board authorized me to join if it was in our interest to do so. This class action lawsuit, it's actually not a class action lawsuit. Heidi had the exact wording of that, but it's similar in concept. And the idea is that PowerSchool, who used to be our information system, had a data breach this year. And even though we don't use PowerSchool anymore, our archives data is still on their servers, and therefore our data was also released. And if you were a parent 2 years ago or earlier, you would have gotten an email from us this year explaining that. But there's an opportunity for us to join this class group to potentially seek some grievance and get some money out of PowerSchool for this. And unfortunately, since the time of that, Matt and Heidi and I have not had an opportunity to sit together and kind of process it further. So I don't have a decision for you guys yet, but that's the basic gist of it.
Okay. Does anybody, I thought in case you see something about that, because whenever you see actions or suits, legal things, it usually is not good. But, this may be something where we get 29 cents out of them.
Get a pizza.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bob. So, away team. Tracy, you got graduation on the 9th.
No, we have graduation on the 5th.
You graduate on the 5th?
Okay, it says 9th on the
That's what Larry was telling me.
Yeah, so we ended up, I'm not sure when and why folks didn't get the updated, but we have very few families in our 6th grade, as most of you know, and we had one family that was leaving early. They had planned an overseas or trip, and we didn't want to do graduation without them, so we moved it back to this week. So sorry if that didn't come across.
That's Thursday then, right?
That is Thursday. Our moving on ceremony is Thursday. Our exhibition is tomorrow night. We have a literal metric ton of field trips happening in the next couple of weeks, and kids are so excited. We are still, full speed ahead. We have lots of things to finish learning, and we haven't let the steam come out too much, but we're doing it. I do have an update. We did make we gave an offer to someone to become our guidance counselor. She accepted. So I'm super excited about that. And we're still looking for a librarian. If anybody knows anybody who wants to librarian, that would be lovely. But other than that, we are good to go. And I had a couple of teachers come down to me today, itinerant teachers. They were like, you know what? I'm in other buildings. She was like, and right here at Dover, she was like, these guys are still on it. Like they have not got summer fever yet. So I was very happy to hear that.
Well, it hasn't felt like summer, has it yet?
You know what? And I think that's part of it. I think it feels like winter still. So that's probably why.
Yeah, I think I saw snow on Saturday, just so you know, up top hill.
This past Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it.
I believe it.
It's not right.
No, it
It's not
isn't.
right.
But, you know, we lost the principal one time because she came up to interview, and she drove from New York, and she came up, and it was snowing to beat the heck. And she said in Brattleboro it was nice out, and she came back, and Ron Ryan called us up and said, yeah, she said never again. So, thank you, Tracy. Anybody got anything for Tracy?
So graduation in Dover changed dates. So I just want to update my calendar. I try to go to both every year. So I wanted to make sure I have that updated so I can go.
Thursday night at 6:30.
6:30? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All set, Kate?
Yep.
Mike, you good? Yes.
All good, thank
Okay.
you. Takes me a minute.
No, that's fine. So,
right.
Francesca.
Well, we had all our field trips the last week or so. I went on the sixth grade field trip to the Maritime Museum, which was a lot of fun, and we went to Six Flags, which was also fun. We got to sleep next to the seals.
Really?
Woke up and there were seals swimming around us, so it was pretty cool. The kids had a great time. It was like, you know that movie Night in the Museum? Well,
Yeah.
we were night in the aquarium because the
Aquarium.
kids could just run around the aquarium. They were playing hide and seek in the aquarium, and it was fun. We had a good
What
time.
time did you get to sleep?
We did. We didn't sleep.
There's no sleep involved.
So we we had our STEAM and Arts open house last week, and that was very well attended. I think about 85% of our families came. Every single classroom had something happen in it. One classroom had robotics with Lego kits. One classroom had fiber arts. We had some art displays going on. We had a couple kids doing, one kiddo was playing music, piano in the hallway. We had a book giveaway, and then our grand finale was all our smart lamps in the multi-purpose room, which was pretty cool. So we had probably 40 to 50 of them on at once. I shut the lights off. It was very cool. They're all different lights, played different music. So that was kind of the capstone of our STEAM program. They've been working on that for months and months. So it was nice to see them kind of persevere through that. We also had Mike Clough in here with his Birds of Prey, which supplements our EL curriculum in first and second grade. We went up to the Montshire Museum. The entire school went, which was a lot of fun. I hadn't been there in years. It's a very cool place. And then our fourth grade with Dover is doing Starbase in Rutland. Starbase. They made rockets a couple days ago, shot them off in the air. A couple of them were lost because they went so far. So all things STEAM, it's been pretty fun. And then we were able to get a Cliff Summer book giveaway grant. So we had a visiting artist here, and they brought a bunch of books, and the kids got to take 2 home. And so that was a lot of fun as well. So we've been doing a lot. Our graduation is the 11th. our staff is pretty much hired. We are looking for a librarian, and we found out today that our guidance counselor will not be returning.
Talk to Tracy. She's
yeah, I
got
know.
one.
Yeah. Also, our Spanish teacher is not returning, and I want to look into perhaps, as opposed to having Spanish, maybe kind of supplementing, taking that money and working on our STEAM program some more, because our relationship with Black River Innovations in Springfield has been wonderful, and they can come and do some workshops and things with the kids. So I think that would be really interesting for them. Academically wise, our benchmarking's all done. We just finished up our teacher-led data meetings. So that's always very enlightening. And we spend about an hour with each teacher developing action plans and looking at the class as a whole. And Fitness Day, Wardsboro actually participated in Fitness Day this year. It's the first time ever. And the kids loved it. They had a great time. So it's been a couple busy weeks.
So not much is going on, you're saying?
No, not at all.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been busy, but it's been good. And I would like to say that our building is probably not as calm as Dover, because our kids are ready to. They had a dance this past weekend too, so that kind of just up the energy. So yeah, it's been good.
Okay,
They set off the fire alarms at the town hall.
They had a smoke machine, and they
jeez.
set off the alarms. Yeah.
Rager.
And the last thing is we are having our community picnic and field day on Friday. And you all are welcome to come join us at noon for a picnic if you would like. We're going to have a water slide out there. The fire department's going to come. And
I want to do the water
we
slide.
can all take a trip down the water slide.
Supposed to be in the 90s.
I hope so. We could use that sunshine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe if we have a week of sunshine at the top of the hill in Dover too. Those kids won't be as calm either.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Tracy, pull the shades down.
Will do. Our field day isn't until next week, so I'm not too worried. And we're not having a water slide because we're having an inflatable obstacle course. So that'll be just as fun.
Anybody, any questions for Francesca?
Wonderful.
Kate or Mike?
All good. Sounds like a good time there.
We also have, Dover also has a carnival coming up next Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday. This coming up Sunday from 12 to 3 at the school.
Carnival.
I got told I can't drive my fire truck because it's a standard, but I will have somebody bring it up.
Oh, okay.
The fire truck's a standard?
Well, yeah, my old Chevy.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Okay, Francesca, you said something about STEAM and Spanish.
Yeah.
So just before you make that, so we don't oversee, we're supposed to, we do get a say in curriculum,
Okay.
but we're not the end all be all.
Okay.
But I do know that there's a lot of parents that wanted Spanish here, but I know a lot of them really like the, so I would just maybe survey or see what your staff and stuff feels.
Okay.
And I believe that as long as you've got Bob, you know, you make Bob happy. Does anybody have a problem, or can we, I mean, I think that's a Francesca, I don't mind that being a Francesca choice as long as she's just got some input, just so that, I just don't want to, you know, we had the Dover School Massacre where our administrator for the first year came in and said, I think we're not going to do winter sports anymore.
Yeah, right.
And 4 of the board members voted to agree with her, and I voted against it because I said, I still don't mind the idea, and I think it's a good idea, but boy, we're going to get hammered. In the next meeting, we had every parent there and then some. So
Okay.
just I think it's a really good idea because we did want this to be the, you know, the technology science school and you know, the Dover to be the international school.
Yep.
And so it again, Spanish came in because I think some of the STEAM wasn't rolling as much, and there was a lot of talk about it. But just before you do that, Bob, are you good with that, working with Francesca on that? And then
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity. They've struggled to fill the Spanish position anyway, so it's probably a pretty good opportunity to explore what else they could do to enhance their programming.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but I think just let people know, just don't do it, maybe just,
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
just get a little input. So.
Good idea.
Okay. Before we go on, is it okay if Bob leaves us? I don't have anything else on the agenda. Bob, the contracts are pretty straightforward, right? Nothing shocking in there.
No, you have one folder with the principal contracts. You have one folder with professional staff contracts.
Oh, I have one folder with them all. I'm not a 2-folder kind of guy.
Well, then, you're living on the edge, Rich.
Yeah, well, I just saved a tree.
Was there something else in between on the agenda that was?
We have Coalition for Student Equity. Dwight's going to just give us a brief update. We have financials. As soon as we're done with that, we'll kick Heidi already left. We should be good, though. It was just standard financials. And then contracts, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, then I wish everyone a lovely evening, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
So if we're all done with principals, you want to do your
Is that me?
Yeah.
Vermont Student Equity?
Coalition for Vermont Student Equity. Is that?
I'm on the rural. Is that the same one?
Oh.
That's
Did you add
called.
that?
That's the miss.
I'm happy to give an update though on the.
Kate, Coalition.
You know what it was, Rich? I think you were going to reach out to Mark to see if he was going to come and talk to us about it and give us an update on anything that he's been doing.
That's right. Okay, that was my mistake. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't know much about it, but I can try.
Okay. That's going to have to get postponed.
Okay.
Because I did not get hold of Mark about that. Approved financials. So we do have a financial in here. It was three things. And it's...
I can make a motion on that one.
Oh, please do.
I've got the data right here. So I would like to make a motion to approve pay warrant number 59 in the amount of $92,290.37. Pay warrant number 60 in the amount of $444.09. And pay warrant number 61 in the amount of $8,108.48.
Okay, do we have a second to that motion?
I can second.
Meredith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be a unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is. Congratulations, y'all just spent $100,000 in less than 3 seconds. Last thing, contracts. So I got a whole bunch of contracts here, folks. And I should have been signing them before. So we have a contract for Francesca Palumbo for a principal for $104,926. We have a Tracy Gamache for a principal at $100,589. We have Katrina Aldridge for a teacher, full-time teacher for $63,643. Oh. Carla Quadro did not check the box, so I don't know. I'll put this one aside. So I don't know if they have to check the box. But anyways, a full-time teacher at $92,182. We have Valerie Bills for a full-time teacher at $75,391. We have Lindsay Brown Rosso as a full-time teacher at $76,574. We have Lindsay Bushy Hesselbach at a full-time teacher for $58,800. We have Trisha Clark as a full-time teacher at $62,449. We have Bridget Cole is a full-time teacher at $96,184. Thea Dringus as a full-time teacher at $68,706. Ashley Garland is a full-time teacher at $56,022. Jessica Gibb Bursma as a 0.4 FTE at $30,951. Crystal Griswold is a full-time teacher at $88,117. Kathy Hughes as a 0.6 teacher at $37,469. Rebecca Kerr is a 0.5 at 33,033. And Michael Krikorian as a full-time teacher at 78,854. Heather Moeller as a full-time at 73,961. Stacy Molnar as a 0.6 school nurse at 0.6 at 4950, and Alyssa Rich as another nurse at 0.6 at 29,091, and Anne Marie Scott at a full-time teacher at 86,258. Does that sound like everybody?
That's everyone.
Does that sound like everybody, you Tracy?
Everyone except my new PE teacher.
Oh, how come?
Like, no.
I would guess his paperwork isn't through HR yet. Must be.
Let's if we could, let's make a motion for this, and then we'll make a motion to approve the PE teacher. And we can approve it so I can sign that when that comes through, so that we don't lose somebody because they didn't have a contract signed. And Tracy, will you follow up on that tomorrow and let me know, and we'll get approval to sign that. And then as soon as you get it, we can get it signed for you, okay?
Sure thing, thank you.
Okay, so could somebody make a motion to allow the chair to sign all them contracts that I just read?
I'll move.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you, Kate. You want to second it?
Sure.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be unanimous decision in the affirmative. Did I hear Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a unanimous decision in the affirmative, but I'm not going to sign this down. Then I need can we have a motion? Can you, Tracy, give us a name?
Tylik, Tylik, Epps, EPPS.
Can you repeat that?
Tylik, EPPS.
And that's for a full-time, Tracy?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a full-time position. And we'll just, after we sign it, we'll just note the amounts. So can somebody please make a motion to approve that contract when it comes in and allow the chair to sign it?
So moved.
Thank you. Eli, do I have a second?
Kate seconds.
Thank you. Kate seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is. Congratulations.
All right.
So now all we need is 2 more contracts. Right. You got 2. You
I
got
need a
guidance
guidance,
counselor.
And
Oh,
we
you
need a librarian.
Okay. Guidance and librarian. And Tracy, so you
Spanish.
must need a librarian.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, you don't even have anybody close on those, right?
I mean, I have people that said they would step in, but they're not licensed, so.
Okay. So Bob has to do his magic first. Okay, cool. Any other new business that we missed? Oh, we have another person, Leanna. Leanna, did you you missed public comment, etc. Did you have anything that you wanted to say?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're on to consent agenda, so we have the 5/19/25 minutes. Is there everybody good with that? If there's no issues, we'll just by unanimous consent accept them. Appears as though we can. And correspondence, I don't have any, and I don't have anything from Bob. No. Tracy, nothing from you? Yes, no? Okay. We got the parking lot, future planning, future of the summer program, and Dover PCB. I think, guys, we got a lot of stuff done tonight, and it's about that time to make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right.
So I found, Mike, you all good?
Yipper.
So I found out that motions to adjourn, you do need a second and you do need a vote, but there's no discussion.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always was told that you didn't, so I actually looked it
I
up.
thought we didn't need
because
to do that. Though we just doing.
No, I thought we did too, and I looked it up, and you do need a motion to adjourn, you do need a second. It's a privileged motion. So as long as a person has the floor and they say, I move to adjourn,
Right.
you can't interrupt them. If they don't get a second, it dies. If they get a second, you have to go right to a vote. There's no discussion. Look at that, I learned something after 30 years.
Yeah.
Because the day you've talked enough, there's no need to talk anymore on an issue.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Tracy, I think with you moving.